By the time I turned the key, the house already smelled like roasted chicken and rosemary. Emma ran down the hallway, kissed my cheek, tugged my coat off like it weighed a ton. "You're late," she grinned. "Sit." I kept it warm. Home felt easy. Shoes by the mat, soft light, her humming. She planted a plate in front of me and pressed her chin to my shoulder. "You work too much," she murmured. "I worry." "Then stop worrying." I tapped her wrist. "I'm good." It should have ended there, a regular Tuesday. But the first odd thing slipped in quietly. After we ate, she set her phone face down and pushed it away like it burned. "You okay?" I asked. "Just group chat drama. You don't want to know." She smiled too quick, poured me iced tea, then changed the subject. We watched a rerun of a crime show. She curled into me like always, warm, attentive, joking about the bad acting. When I got up to rinse dishes, she pulled her phone to her chest and turned away. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have cut earlier. But I believed the home we built was still home. The hints started small. I'd come in from the garage. She'd be in our bedroom with the door half shut, voice low. Yeah, no, it's fine. I'll bring it by." I'd step in and the call would end. "Who was that?" I'd ask, folding my arms out of habit, not policing. "Trish," she'd answer. "Our neighbor. She's planning a baby shower." "Boring. Help me pick a color?" She made me laugh about it, the way she rolled her eyes. But a week later she was helping her sister organize a fundraiser, then sitting with mom because of a headache, then girls' night with old co-workers I'd never met. We were still affectionate. She still hugged me when I came home. She still touched my shoulder when she passed. Only now there was static around her. Little delays, tiny edits to the truth. One Saturday morning, I put down my coffee and asked straight, "What's going on, Em?" "With what?" "You." The sprinting phone. The last-minute plans. The locked iPad. "That's new." She pulled on a denim jacket and tied her hair. "I changed the iPad password because of online banking." "You know that." "Then tell me the new one." Her smile thinned. "You don't trust me? I'm not interested in theater. Give me a reason to trust the story. I'll buy a ticket." She sighed, walked to the counter, scribbled 4 digits on a sticky note, and slapped it down. "There. Happy." "When did we start pretending?" I asked. She leaned against the fridge. "You're reading into everything. My mom's hip hurts. My sister's kid needs rides. Trish is always flailing. I'm being a decent person. Then schedule it like a decent person. Put it on the calendar. No more pop-ups." She raised a brow. "Calendar approvals for my life? Cute. Try respect for shared time. There's a difference." She crossed her arms. "You're controlling." "I run a contracting crew all day. I hate surprises in my free time." "That's not control. That's sanity." "Fine." She grabbed her tote. "I'll be back for dinner. Don't wait up." "I'll eat at Ben's," I replied. "Game night. Text if you need me." She stared like the ground shifted an inch. Then she shrugged. "Do whatever you want." "I'm going to," I said. "And if this stays fuzzy, I'll tighten it." "What does that even mean?" "It means I treat unclear things like hazards. I mark them, I go around." She rolled her eyes and left. I finished my coffee, entered game night at Ben's on our kitchen calendar in big black letters, and took the sticky note with her iPad code without ceremony. If she wanted drama, she would be disappointed. I was building a map. At Ben's, we ate bad wings and mocked a blown call. He's a project manager with a dry way of seeing through people. "Everything good at home?" he asked during halftime, tossing me a bottle of water. "Define good." He watched my face. "You're not a talker." "That's not me fishing. But you look like a guy measuring beam deflection." "Let's call it hairline cracks," I said. "I'm not running around with tape and a prayer." "Welcome to middle age." He smirked. "You start hearing creaks in a house that used to be quiet." "Yeah." I folded the cap into the label. "I'm setting new permitting rules. No late night emergencies without a calendar entry. No undisclosed group chats. Public boundary. If it keeps going, I'll post it in the group text with her sister. Not to embarrass. To make it real." He nodded. "You always play straight. Don't start apologizing for it." When I got home, Emma was on the couch with a throw blanket and a rom-com on. She paused it, looked me over. "You went to Ben's?" "You didn't tell me." "It's on the calendar," I said, tapping the black square. "Right next to Trish emergency? Funny. Transparent." She shifted, then patted the cushion. "Come sit." I made brownies. It was the first soft turn. She smiled warmer than necessary, nudged my knee with her foot, laughed at nothing. We watched 30 minutes. She rested her head on my chest. I'm sorry if I've been scattered, she whispered. I don't want you to worry. Then stop giving me puzzles, I said. I like you better than suspense. I know. She kissed me once, deliberately. You're my constant. It felt good. I'm not made of stone. But I left the sticky note in my wallet and didn't take constant as handcuffs. The next week, she started teasing me in ways she hadn't before. At a backyard barbecue, our neighbor Trish was bragging about her beginner yoga. Emma smirked and nodded at me. Ty's too stiff for that. He bends about as much as our porch posts. People chuckled. I raised an eyebrow. You're confusing me with the kitchen table. That thing's a rock. She didn't stop. He labels his spice jars. Our life is a spreadsheet. Yep, I said. And somehow the basil still walks off. Ben watched, lips pressed into a line. Trish giggled. Come on, Emma. It's a joke, Emma said, waving it off. Relax, he knows I love him. I clinked my beer against Ben's and smiled like it rolled off me. Inside, I marked the new form, small public cuts. In return, I adjusted. Walking home, I matched pace with Emma. New rule, I told her. No jokes at my expense in front of the neighbors. That's ridiculous. Take it or leave it. If you need a laugh, we've got a remote. Or roast me at home if you must. Not in front of Trish. Why? Afraid of looking human? Afraid of normalizing cheap shots. I set the price in our house. She blew out air. All right. Fine. You're welcome. 2 days later, she texted at 5:15 p.m. Running late. Helping mom with a shelf. Don't wait up. Put it on the calendar, I replied. Seriously? Yes. She didn't. She came in at 9 with a paper bag and a bouquet of grocery roses. Thank you for being patient, she said gently. I brought your favorite chips. Mid-turn again, like care. I took the bag, put the flowers in a jar, and kept the rule. Calendar next time. Sure, she said, kissing my cheek. You're right. The more I asked for clarity, the more she reached for charm. It wasn't clumsy. She was good at it. She'd put a hand on my throat when she laughed, bring me coffee in the shower, stand close, and let me believe we were solid. Then she'd slip out in the evening for sister errands and silence her phone. I drew a line on money. The joint account was for bills. Everything else stayed separate. Always had been. Now I scheduled bill pay myself and removed the overdraft cushion linked to my personal savings. She noticed. When did you turn into a banker? She asked, peering at her screen. I turned into a man with better time management, I replied. If you're out, be out. If you're in, be in. I won't chase either. She stared like she wanted to argue, then smiled instead. You're impossible. Consistent, I said. That weekend she surprised me with tickets to a small jazz club. The dress, the perfume, the way she caught my eye like I was the only man in a room. It hit all the old bells. During intermission, she touched my sleeve. I know the calendar stuff bothers you, she said. I'm trying. Trying doesn't need a speech, I answered. Just do it. I will. She squeezed my hand. I love our life. I wanted to believe it. I let myself enjoy the music and the way people looked at us like we belonged together. But when we got home, she slipped away for a quick call and came back with a smile that didn't belong to our night. I went to bed without asking. On Monday, I hired a private investigator. I didn't make a big deal. I didn't tell anyone but Ben. You sure? He asked. I'm sure. I want facts. You know what you might get. I know what I'm buying. An answer. Cheaper than losing 10 years to uncertainty. You want me there when you read it? No, I said, but keep your phone on. 2 days later, I set a simple test. I moved my Tuesday client meeting to late afternoon and left the morning open. I wrote a note on the kitchen whiteboard. Back by 1. Let me know if plans change. Then I went to the job site, checked in with the crew, and drove home for lunch. Emma wasn't there. Her car was gone. No text on the calendar. At 12:45, she pinged me. With Julie, last minute thing, be home by 4. Julie lived across town. I ate cold leftovers and took a photo of the whiteboard. No commentary. I went back to work. That evening, she floated in at 5:30 with takeout and a bright tone. You won't believe Julie's situation, she started. I cut her off with a nod at the whiteboard. You saw my note. I did, but you didn't text the calendar. It was last minute. Then text last minute. I'm not asking for a novel. She set the bags down, laughter shaking a little. Okay. I hear you. You're right. After dinner, she reached for me like the room was only us. It was the second soft turn, bigger than the first, more affectionate, generous in a way that converts chaos into warmth. I held her, but my head stayed on the beam. I wasn't confusing a soft blanket for solid structure. On Friday, she announced a weekend plan in passing. Brunch with the girls tomorrow. Then I might swing by Mom's. Don't wait up if I'm late. Put it on the calendar, I said, pouring coffee. She rolled her eyes. Fine. Saturday morning, she left in yoga pants and a smile. Be back by 11, she sang. Don't miss me too much. Text if you're not, I replied. At 6:02 p.m., the investigator sent me a message. Do you want real time or summary Monday? Real time, I wrote back. And photos. Copy. At 7:48 p.m., my phone buzzed. A live stream of location pings, a camera shot from across a parking lot. Emma walking into a restaurant with a man I knew too well, Mike. Her oldest friend. Married. He and I had carried a couch together once, laughing like we were on the same team. The next photo, their hands touching across the table. Then her leaning into him, his hand on the small of her back. Then his face close to her ear in a half-hug outside by the valet stand. My jaw didn't clench. My vision didn't blur. I felt nothing dramatic. I felt a switch quietly slide from on to off. The investigator texted. More? That's enough, I typed. Then I screenshotted and saved everything to a locked folder. I already had Hannah's number, Mike's wife, from a holiday invite chain. I just had to scroll back. At 10:03 p.m., Emma called. I'm running late, she said, voice airy, a little breathless. Don't worry. A male whisper floated behind her, followed by a small laugh. Mike. The moron forgot his volume. Take your time, I replied, calm. I need a minute to tell Hannah about this call. Silence. Then a rushed inhale. What? Ty, no. In the background, Mike's voice spiked to a hiss. How did he know? They both started talking at once. I ended the call. Before any adrenaline could find me, I tapped Hannah's name. She answered on the second ring. Hey, this is Ty, I said. We met at your barbecue last summer. Ty? Is everything okay? No. And I'm sorry to be the messenger. I'm sending you 4 photos and a timestamp from tonight at Lakeside Grill. It's Emma and Mike together. Hands across the table, leaving together. You should see it from me, not from someone else. The line went still for a beat. Then a sound like a steel cable stretching. Send them, she said. I sent. Read receipts popped up. 40 seconds later, she spoke again, each word measured. Thank you. I thought I was crazy, she said. I've been gaslit for months. You just gave me my sanity back. I'm going to pack Emma's things now, I told her. Do it. I'm calling my brother to go pick up our kids. A breath. He's with her now? Yes. Okay. Her voice hardened. Ty, I'm sorry for you. But I'm grateful. We'll talk later, maybe. Right now, we both have work to do. Agreed, I said. I hung up, grabbed Emma's suitcase from the closet, and opened drawers. I didn't do rage. I did task lists. Shirts, jeans, toiletries, basic makeup, her charger. I left the sentimental junk. If she wanted it, she could ask, not that I planned to reply. 30 minutes later, the front door burst open. She stepped in with wind in her hair and a face trying to find a script. Ty, this is insane, she started. There's a misunderstanding. I pointed at the suitcase. No more improvisation. I was with Julie. Stop, I said. Her eyes scanned the living room like a stage. You're overreacting. I held up my phone and flicked through 4 photos. She froze on the one with hands across the table. Her tone changed, smaller. It's not what it looks like. I said stop. I repeated even. I've seen enough. Take your bag. She took a step toward me. Can we talk about this like adults? We are. Action is adult. I nudged the suitcase toward her feet. Take your bag. Her shoulders sagged. She grabbed the handle. This is crazy, Ty. No, this is logistics. The crazy part was yours. She swallowed. Where am I supposed to go? You've got options. But not here. Please. Your key works until tomorrow morning, I added. Drop it in the mailbox by noon. She stared, then wheeled the suitcase out. No slam, no scream. Just the sound of cheap wheels on our walkway. I locked the door and exhaled once, not relief, just completion. I slept like a guy after closing a job. The next morning, the calls began. 7:12 a.m. Can we meet? Please. 8:03. I'm sorry. I panicked. I didn't mean for this to blow up. 10:49. I'll do anything. Noon. Ty? Hello. I didn't answer. I filed the report the investigators sent overnight. I updated my bank settings. I changed the door code. I sent Ben a short message. It's done. He replied, proud of you. Call if you need help with anything. I didn't. I wanted quiet. At 1:20 p.m., my phone buzzed with a new number. Hannah. He's out, she said. Bags on the porch. He's yelling in the yard. My brother is standing next to me and doesn't mind an audience. Mike can scream in a hotel. Thank you again. I wish it weren't necessary. Me too. A pause. If you need a statement later, for friends who will ask, you have it. I'll back you. He's already trying to spin. Good to know, I said. I'm filing paperwork this afternoon. Same, she said. Be well, Ty. You too. By 4 p.m., my email to my lawyer friend went out. I won't detail paperwork. The internet lives for court stories. I don't. I filed what I had to file. I also shut off Emma's card on the shared bill account and moved autopays to my name alone. By dinner, she'd shifted her strategy. Not angry, but syrup. You know I love you. Her text read. That was a one-time meltdown. I was confused. Please, let's not throw away our life. I put my phone face down and salted my eggs. I wasn't throwing anything. I was setting a heavy thing down. 3 days of silence from me made her frantic. She showed up at noon on day 4, knocking like a salesman. I opened the door a foot. Don't, I said. Just 5 minutes, she pleaded. You took your 5 minutes at Lakeside. I messed up. You built a side life in my blind spot. I corrected. And you didn't mess up. You managed it. For months. She looked for pity and found a blank wall. I'll get counseling, she tried. We can fix this. This isn't a leaky pipe, I answered. It's a cracked foundation. And I'm not pouring good concrete into bad forms. She blinked quickly. You're cruel. I'm precise. I angled the door. Goodbye, Emma. She backed off. Tears a strategy now. I locked the door. 2 weeks. She called and texted every day. I blocked. She found new numbers. I blocked those too. She emailed. I set a filter that moved her to a folder I didn't open. I went to the gym, fixed a sagging fence, cooked my own food, took a drive upstate on Sunday, and hiked alone. I kept moving. The silence wasn't empty. It was clean. On day 14, she slipped past the filters with a call from a friend's phone. I picked up without looking. Ty, she said, small. I'm only answering to close a loop, I replied. Please don't hang up. Just hear me, she begged. I can't sleep. I can't focus. I know I blew up our life. You're still using our, I said. That's expired. Let me see you once. To apologize. To explain. There's nothing to explain. There is, she insisted. I was lonely while you worked those long hours. Stop. Don't insult us. You don't have to forgive me, she said. Just meet me. 1 coffee. You set the rules. Here are the rules, I replied. There will be no meeting. There will be no coffee. You made a choice. Now live in it. Please, she whispered. Don't be done with me. I am, I said, and ended the call. I thought it would finally land. It didn't. 2 days later, she waited outside my office, arms folded, eyes red. Ben saw her through the glass and waved me over. You want me to move her? He asked. No, I said. I'll handle it. I walked out. She rushed forward like a hug would erase paperwork. Stop, I told her. Ty, I get it now, she said, words tumbling. I lost my mind. I miss you. I miss our routine. I will do anything you say. Good, I replied. Do this. Go home. Don't come back here. Don't show up at my house. Communicate through email about logistics only. I'll check that folder every 3 days. That's all. You can't mean that. I do. She reached for a different tactic. If you leave me, you're throwing away a woman who loves you. People make mistakes. That word is too small for a plan, I said. She flinched. Then anger cut through the wet voice. You think you're perfect. You're cold. All math. I'm warm to people who respect me. I stepped back, not interested in a show. She stared at me, then at Ben visible through the glass. She raised her voice. Ask your buddy if he thinks you're so great. Maybe he knows you're not much of a man at home. Ben opened the door and leaned against the frame, arms crossed. I know he cooks better than me and can read a calendar. That's enough for a man where I'm from. She flushed, turned to me again. Is this it? You into marriage with a shrug? Not a shrug, I said. A standard. I nodded past her, toward the parking lot. Go. She left with a final parting shot I didn't bother to hear. Inside, Ben clapped my shoulder. You're a stonewall, he said. No, I answered. I'm a finished job. I assumed that was the last in-person scene. I was wrong. The next stage was her trying to control the story. Mutual friends started texting me vague questions. Hey, man, everything okay? From one. Heard you were being unfair. From another. Trish, queen of the block group chat, posted a passive-aggressive message about men who abandon women when they're vulnerable. Names weren't said, but the zip code did the work. I don't enjoy gossip wars. I also don't let lies live. I built a small, boring plan. I created a group thread with 6 people. Trish, our next-door neighbor Mark, quiet, sees everything. Her sister Julie, Ben, Hannah, and Emma herself. I titled it Clarity. Apologies for the group text, I wrote. Rumors are growing. I don't do rumors. This is the last message I'll send on this topic. I attached 4 unedited photos from the investigator with timestamps. I attached screenshots of my whiteboard note and the Don't Worry call log with 10:03 p.m. I didn't add commentary. I ended with one sentence. We're separating, paperwork filed. Please keep me out of any story that ignores these facts. The thread blew up for 5 minutes. Trish went silent. Mark sent a single understood. Julie wrote my phone privately. I had no idea. I'm sorry. Ben added a thumbs up. Hannah chimed in. Thank you for the transparency. Emma left the chat. I muted my phone. By the end of that week, my bank accounts felt lighter in a good way. No more mystery charges for random brunches. My living room felt bigger. My sleep wasn't interrupted by late-night whispers down the hall. I kept my routines. Early gym, black coffee, tile backsplash estimate at 10 a.m., quiet dinner at 7. In the evenings, I read. I fixed the hinge on the back gate. I sat on the steps and listened to neighborhood kids on bikes. Peace is loud when you haven't heard it in a while. Emma kept trying. Emails slipped in with urgent in the subject. I only opened the ones about logistics. Can I pick up my box of photos? Yes, porch at 6. Can I get the air fryer? No, buy your own. Do you have my passport? Yes, come at 10 a.m. Saturday. I'll place it in the mailbox. She tried to insert apologies mid-sentence. I skipped them. The day the papers went final, I took a long drive with the windows cracked and a sandwich on the passenger seat. No music. I stopped at a lake and leaned against the railing like a man who came out of a storm and didn't need to talk about it. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt like I'd lifted a beam off my chest and out of my house. Clear sight lines. Fresh air. 3 months later, life looked like mine again. I bought a used pickup with low miles and no drama. I moved my office to a bigger space with better light. Ben and I bought a smoker for weekends. On Sundays, I worked on the kitchen island project I'd put off. I kept the house tidy because it pleased me, not because anyone expected it. I met a woman named Dana at a friend's small dinner. She's a pediatric nurse who tells it straight and doesn't use silence as a weapon. We didn't rush. A coffee here, a hike there. She laughed at my calendar jokes and added her own events without fuss. That's my version of romance now. 2 adults who put their lives on the table face up. Neighbors adjusted. Trish waved less. Mark nodded more. Julie sent a note once. I hope you're okay. I replied, I am. It was true. From friends, I heard Emma moved into a small apartment near her sister. The comfortable life she'd set up on my dime wasn't in the cards anymore. She picked up extra shifts at the boutique she liked more than her paycheck. As for Mike, he vacillated between pleading and denial, according to Hannah, until she stopped answering his texts entirely. She sold a piece of jewelry he'd given her and paid off a credit card. That detail made me smile. I don't know if Emma rewrote the story for new people. It's her right to try. I know what I know. A quiet switch flipped the night the evidence hit, and I never turned it back. I didn't scream. I didn't break things. I didn't compete with the ghost. I just locked my door. Sometimes, on my porch in the evening, the air smells like rosemary again from my planters, and I remember that first scene. Home warm, her arms around me, my optimism like a well-made table. I don't hate those memories. They were true in the moment. Then the facts arrived. And when the facts show up, a man like me moves furniture. The last time she tried to catch me at my truck, I put my coffee on the roof and faced her square. Ty, can we at least be friends? She asked softly. No, I said, not harsh, just final. We can be two adults who don't harm each other by pretending. That's cold. That's honest. You can call it what you want. She looked back at the house, then at me. You won't even say goodbye? I did, I said. The night I handed you the suitcase. She waited for me to soften. I didn't. Take care of yourself, I added. And don't come back. I got in the truck, eased off the curb, and drove toward the job site I was early for. At the first light, Dana texted, "Still on for dinner?" I typed yes. 7 p.m. I'll bring dessert. I could almost hear her smile through the screen. The story ended when I chose myself without a speech. That's the whole lesson. You don't have to win an argument. You just have to leave the table that stopped feeding you. And when someone tries to drag your name in the mud after that, you keep receipts, you share once, and you go back to the life you built with your two hands. That's all I ever wanted. And funny thing, once I enforced my boundaries, I got it.